Awesome. And so these recordings will be available after the meetup. I'll share it via LinkedIn in our meetup chat or messaging, and via the Slack channel as well. All right, so let's run a quick poll. Some of you have seen these before, and some haven't yet. These polls help me just to get an understanding and profile of what's working, what's helpful for everybody. So the questions that we got here around frequency, and this is also sort of while we're waiting for other people to join, an opportunity to do something and to get to know each other a bit better. So the first question there is, what frequency of meetups would be most beneficial to you? Tuesdays and Thursdays is good. Once a week is enough. Once a fortnight works for me, or once a month is plenty. I don't have the time. The second question, what time of day locally for you, if you're not in Victoria or Melbourne, is most convenient? So early morning before work, middle of the day during your lunch break, early evening straight after work, or late evening after dinner. And I want to be agile about these meetups, right? So as people's situations or preferences change a bit as we go through, it'd be great to update the meetings as we go. I'll just do an Alt A here. Okay, I'm just going to mute everybody there. There's a bit of background noise coming through. Okay, make sure I'm unmuted. Which meetup sessions would you like to attend? And you can attend multiple. And I've got another attendee. Okay, you can attend multiple, and I'll show in a second that the four sort of streams, I suppose. There's daily daily users, power users, which is this one, project administrators and system administrators. Ad hoc extra sessions for tools and other topics would be good. So I think Ignacio, you'd mentioned early, you'd like one just to go through Miro and different things like that, Slack and different things. So we could do that as well, just as an extra session if you wanted to. And I want an extra one for full-on development. There might be some people who are keen to write plugins and collaborate on that sort of stuff, or try some integration and different things. How long would you like these meetup series to run? Any answers okay? Okay, I'm not going to be offended by any of these answers. These series are about you, not me. So first one, I'll probably just get enough progress. I'll probably just progress through each stream and drop off once I've gotten what I need. A month of frequent sessions would be enough. I'd like to keep attending and see where it takes me, or I want to keep going with repeated content periodically. So some people might want to repeat the first session that I did on Jira basics or filters. We might want to revisit this and dig a bit deeper and that sort of thing, and that's perfectly fine too. I want to keep them going with repeated content forever. That'll be okay too. The fifth question there, what duration works best for you? Shorter would be better. I can't really spare an hour, or an hour is good. Longer would be better. An hour goes too quickly. And the last question, are these polls helpful? No, they're a pain. Please stop it. They're okay, I don't mind. Or yes, they're good, and it's helpful to see everybody's sort of profile. And I'm just going to mute my laptop. Okay. All right, so I'll end the polling there and share the results. All right, so once a week's enough. Tuesdays and Thursdays are good. Once a fortnight works for me. And these three might be covered by the types of series that we've got. So if people want to come to every one of them, then Tuesdays and Thursdays are good. If it's a particular one that you want to go to, so it could be this one, or it could be project administrator and not system administrator, that sort of thing, then once a week might be enough. I'd really like to know if there's anybody who wants to attend all of them, but you want them a bit more spaced out, or repeated sessions so that you can go to the project administrators one week and the system administrator the next week. Just let me know, and we can sort of break them up a little bit as we go. Okay, the next one there. What time of day locally is most convenient for you? Just going to delete in. Middle of the day during your lunch break, good. Early evening, straight after work. We've got some people from America dialing in, and possibly India and other countries as well, where our midday might be their lunchtime. If you're local to Melbourne and you'd like an early evening one, just let me know. Just message me and I'll see what the appetite is there. Later evening after dinner, same thing. Okay. Which meetup sessions would you like to attend? Power users, yeah, sort of expected that biggest response in this session, and the future sessions when I run the same poll, I might get different responses. Project administrators and system administrators. And how long would you like them to run? Keep attending and see where it takes me. Perfect. And what duration works best for you? An hour is good. Okay, and the polls generally, yeah, they're okay, don't mind. All right, cool. So I might shorten the polls a little bit in the future, and I'll definitely turn off waiting rooms. So then that way we won't need to sort of I won't need to be letting people in as we go. Okay, so let's get into it. So based on feedback, data, polls, all that sort of stuff in the past, I think we're up to about 200 and almost 230 members now. The general feedback is that there are sort of 4 distinct groups of users. There are those who either have never used Jira before and like to get familiar with it, start off with the basics and go slowly that way and just feel their way around Jira and Confluence. Then we've got power users, which is this group. They might also be new people, people who are new to Jira and want to expand their experience and familiarity with different aspects of Jira as well. Might be experienced users, they might be system users as well, system administrators who also want to get into filters and dashboards and those sorts of things as well. Then we've got project administrators, responsible for team level configuration, not necessarily system administrator, but they might be configuring boards, for example, or adding people into projects and that sort of stuff. And then system administrators is the last one, responsible for system-wide configuration. Usually system administrators would do some of all the rest of it as well. So they would write filters, they'd do permissions and notification schemes and all sorts of stuff. The pictures of the redwoods here is just supposed to sort of indicate, I suppose, the different streams that's starting out. Somebody is sort of striving, going for the sky, an ordered layout, which is a project administrator, and then the really big issues, which is the system administrators there. Bit cheesy, but anyway. Okay, so our agenda for today. That wasn't the one that I wanted. Just ignore that. I forgot to update my agenda. So we're going to go through filters. Move past this. Filters, dashboards, the different ways to get to the issue navigator. Creating a dashboard using a filter. We might have time to do that in Confluence as well, just to see what the difference is. If not, we'll make the next one for power users about Confluence and pulling data through from Jira. And this slide here for interactions, and let's discuss along the way. If you want me to dig deeper into something or try out a different search criteria or whatever it might be. So let's go from there. Now I've just got to notice that my internet connection is unstable, so I'm going to kill off the kids watching, or not the kill the kids, sorry. I'm going to stop the kids from watching Disney Plus if they're on. Looks like it's okay. All right, can everybody still hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Cool, okay, thank you. All right, so please, please let me know if you've got any questions and stuff. Varun, Paul, where would you categorize project managers who own end-to-end Jira and Confluence re the stream? Varun, are you new to Jira and Confluence, or are you an experienced administrator?
Say that again,
just in response to your question, yep. Are you an experienced Jira user, or are you sort of new to Jira and Confluence?
Well, I'll probably say I'll sit in between.
Okay, no worries. You could probably benefit then from this series if you haven't played around with filters and dashboards and that sort of stuff much. You could benefit from this. The project administration one, you could certainly benefit from that because you're probably going to have people asking to have different things showing in the board and configuring the board in different ways. You would also definitely benefit from system administration as well. In your organization, you might not have the capability of doing system administration. Some organizations, lock that down, so it's just for a select group of people. But attending the system administration sessions in these meetup series will enable you to know what to ask for. So if you see particular things, you see custom fields being created, dashboards, notification schemes, and different things like that, it will help you when you raise a help desk ticket to ask for something to be changed. You'll know what's possible. So I think probably those 3 series would help you.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, no, it certainly does. I'm doing a bit of those. Pretty much being the SME and the coach to set this up for enterprise, and that's why I said I've not been a Jira user for long, but yeah, it wasn't a big struggle to get it up and running and set through the policies and security principles and project structures, templates, and all those kind of things. One
cool.
bit which definitely interests me is the roll-ups and portfolio management side of things. Because most of the times I have way too many projects running into Kitty, and especially coming in from a Microsoft project background, with especially when it comes to portfolio and programs.
Okay.
I did find Jira to be a bit not up to that level, but I wasn't expecting it to do a match to match. I wasn't comparing apples with apples, so I get that bit. I have come across a few tools and whatnot, but yeah, the streams you were outlining, there were a couple of in there which I wasn't sure which one to actually go for, but I believe to start off with, the project administrator and the system administrator is a good one to pick up on.
Yeah, for sure. And please, yourself and everybody else in the group, please feel free to message me at any time if you think, I'd really like to know about X or Y or Z, and I'm not sure which session that would fit in. If you send me that message, then it may well be something that I hadn't thought of including in a session. And so if you let us know, probably on the Slack group, actually, if you join the Slack channel, anybody can just send me your email address and I'll add you into the Slack channel. We can discuss it on there. But that would be great. Anything that you want to learn will essentially drive these sessions, right? I'll come up with my own initial thoughts on things, but eventually I'd really like your questions as a collaborative group to drive the future content, because this is all about being of benefit to all of you. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome, Paul. And probably end of each session, I know this is just to start off with, but if you could just present a couple of things that we could possibly talk about, and then we can do a poll to pick up the topics at least for the next meetup. That way,
great idea.
Everybody's on board on with that, and they know if that's the content they want to cover and they can join in. Because imagine with I stand locked on these days, you've got way too many online meetups now to go on to, and there's always some overlaps.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great idea, actually. At the end of this one, let's quickly set up an idea boards together, and we can quickly jot down if there's things that people want to, just for a couple of minutes, things that people want to raise next time. Sandeep and team, hello Sandeep. Hello Paul and team. Since I'm managing the Jira cloud site for my small team, I'd be attending all the sessions. Awesome, no worries. Okay, cool. Okay, so filters and searching. There's a couple of different ways to get into issue searching in Jira, and I'll show you these screenshots before we get into the actual pages in Jira. On the left-hand side, when you're looking at a board, okay, so when you go into a Scrum board or a Kanban board, on the left-hand side, there's an issues link, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. There's a filters link up at the top of the screen, and there's a search box up at the top of the screen as well. Okay. When you click on the issues link on the left-hand side, it's in the context of the project that you're currently looking at. So remember from our first session, a board is attached to a project, okay? So it's always within the context of a project that you're looking at. And when you go into that issues link on the left-hand side, then you got a range of options down the left here. So we've got all issues, my open issues, so the things that are currently assigned to you and are open, things that have been reported by me, open issues, done issues, viewed recently, resolved recently, updated recently, and you can view all filters. So with the filters in Jira, you can flag filters as a favorite. You can share filters. So if Ignacio, if you created a filter in your Jira instance and you shared it with Nikhil, then you can, Nikhil can also add that as a favorite as well. So it goes with all your teams. As an administrator or a team lead, you can create a filter and then have everybody add that as a favorite. And please remind me, I need to show you how to subscribe. Make a note for myself there. Okay. And the anatomy of the screen here, you can refine a search. So if you clicked on My Open Issues and it brought up this screen, you can search within those. So say you had 50 open issues that were assigned to you, then you can refine that. For all issues, you can say who you want to search for by assignee, reporter, status type, etc. This advanced search link on the right-hand side, that's the screen that we're going to look mostly at today. Okay, Varun, to everyone, thank you. To enable the issues page, project settings and features. Awesome. Is that for classic projects or for next gen?
Next gen.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm primarily focusing on classic projects, but that's a really good call out. I haven't played a lot with next gen projects, but some of you may have. And so your experience here with the things exactly as you've done now, Varun, with sharing with everybody, the things that you have learned about next gen projects will be helpful to everybody probably.
Absolutely. No, next gen is where I've spent most of my recent times with. So this was something initially, it wasn't quite clear and I had to kind of go a couple of deep searches to actually be able to find it. So I can share that with the rest of the group over here.
Yep. Awesome.
So, hi, Paul and Varun. This is Santosh here. So
hey,
I don't know the difference between the next gen project and classic project. What's the difference between them?
No worries. So I covered this in the basic one that I did the other day, but I'll just very quickly recap. So Jira historically had been very, very powerful and also a bit dangerous. So for people who were system administrators, they could create workflows that updated fields and did all sorts of things. And for people who were familiar with Jira, that was fine. But if they renamed an issue type, for example, so somebody at ANZ or any other big organization might rename an issue type, that impacts the entire organization with a classic project. I'm not sure if that's the case with next-gen projects. It may still be. But next-gen projects give individuals the ability to create projects and to configure them themselves. To be honest with you, I haven't liked next-gen projects so far. When they first were released, they didn't have fixed versions, they didn't have components. They had roadmaps, which was pretty cool, but they had limited functionality. I think there are still some restrictions there, and Varun, you mentioned portfolio type view and roadmaps. Although next-gen projects have roadmaps built within them, you can't use next-gen projects in advanced roadmaps or the portfolio plugin view in Jira at this point. At some point, Atlassian may release that, but they sound like they're a bit non-committal about it, and that classic projects are their higher priority. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Oh, awesome, Sandeep, thank you. So there's a link in the chat there, guys, if you want to go and look further at next-gen projects. And we can chat further about that in the Slack channel if you want to. Just for anybody who's not in the Slack channel yet, if you email me or message me on LinkedIn your email address, I'll add you into the Slack channel if you'd like to, and then we can discuss these kind of things there in deeper detail. Okay, to the left of the search boxes are these filters. To the right over
Sorry,
here.
it should be right. Sorry, Paul. Yeah, a bit dyslexic.
That's all right. No, that's fine. It's your left, it's my right. Yes, yeah, that's right. So they are further refinement filters. Just got one more, so I'll let Jay in. So you can refine your search in here. This is not the advanced search screen. This is just the basic search. Okay, so keep moving along. Just letting a few more people in. Okay, on the left here is just a summary list of the results of the search, and you can order it. So we've got created here. You could pick it, search by different criteria if you wanted to. It could be assignee or something, and then you can order, whether it's ascending, descending. You can refresh, and you can navigate down the bottom here. And on the right-hand side here is just the detail of the issue that you're currently looking at, which is indicated by the one that's highlighted here. A couple of other bits which are basics, but this little eye here, it's not the Illuminati. You can actually watch some of these issues. If you watch something, if you're not the assignee or the reporter, and you tick that the watcher option, if somebody comments, updates, depends on the notification scheme, and we'll get into that in Project Administrator, that series. But when there's an update to an issue, you'll get an email about it. Be very careful with that one, because you might be overwhelmed with email notifications from Jira. And if you get too many, then they're not valuable at all. But it can be quite handy if there's a particular issue that you want to watch and see what's going on, then you can do that. Also, you can share issues. You can email, you can message, and all that sort of stuff too. All right. The menu option at the top of the screen for filters, when you click on that, it drops down this one, and there's a link there to advanced issue search. That's where we're going to be looking at mostly today. And down the bottom here, you can see if you hover over the issue search, the URL that it's got here is not related to the project. So remember we said that left-hand panel, when you click on that issues, it's in the context of the project that you're looking at. If you go to advanced issue search, and that could be from this one, or it could be from over here on the previous screen, that will take you into the advanced screen, and we'll go in there soon. When you search using that search box at the top of the screen in Jira, this is really cool actually. They've updated this a lot lately. So it'll come up automatically before you put any criteria in with the things that you've looked at recently, all the different issues. It'll come up with boards that you'd looked at, boards, projects, and filters that you looked at recently as well. And you can also get to that advanced issue search from here. Jira has been continually refined, and the cloud version is really good for this. They keep on releasing new features frequently. So they're pretty cool with doing that. If I type in Windows 10 in that search box, it refines the contents in here, and it also changes the content of the screen. So you can apply it within this smart search. You can apply a filter in there. You can filter by project, you can filter by assignee, and other criteria. So yeah, that's really powerful. The other thing that we're going to look at is dashboards and how to create a dashboard. So across the top menu here, we've got projects, we've got filters and dashboards, and there's an option there to create a dashboard. Okay, I'll just run through the chat. So Sandeep, thank you. Thanks, Amma. Great session so far. Varun, superb effort. Oh, thank you. Keep it up. I've got to drop off, no problem. However, we'll revisit this later. Please add me to the Jira project Slack with my email. Brilliant. Varun, if you're still there, thank you. I'll certainly do that. And I will message after this on LinkedIn, the Slack channel, and via Meetup with a link to the recording, so you can watch the rest of this in your own time. You can download it and watch it. And they'll be available for download for about a week or so, just until I run out of room on Zoom. Cool. Any other questions so far from the group? Okay, so let's keep going. All right, so I'm going to switch my screen that I'm sharing. Okay, let me just pause my sharing and make sure I've got the right window here. Okay, I'll just move this over here. And can you just give me a thumbs up if you can see this browser page, what is advanced searching in Jira Cloud? No, okay. Zoom share, okay, and now? Yep, awesome, okay. So what is it?
Zoom. We just see your Zoom.
Oh, okay, no worries. So let me stop sharing and I'll try it again. Okay, now?
Yep, good.
Yep, awesome. So what is advanced searching in Jira Cloud? So in the slide deck, and I'll share the link to this page as well. So there's a page under the Atlassian support docs, which talks about what is advanced searching in Jira Cloud. And it talks about navigating. So as we've gone through filters, advanced issue search, and I'm going to demonstrate this, okay? So don't worry about taking all this in right now. And you'll have access to this link. It'll talk about constructing JQL queries. So for anybody who's done SQL before, JQL is just Jira query language, and how to construct one. There are operators in here. So you can have equals, not equal to, they're all down here. Oops. Percent, etc. And there are functions as well. There's reserve words, and there are more links here to fields, reference, operators, etc. and running a save search and different things. So this is probably a really good page to have a look at. And up the top here, okay.
So, Paul, do you have Script Runner on your cloud instance?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. The new automation feature, I've got that, but I
Okay.
haven't got any other. Yeah. So for these meetups, I'm primarily just using the standard plugins.
Out of the box.
So that if people get their own instance, they won't be seeing me demonstrate stuff that they won't have.
Don't have.
Yeah. However, if others in the group have plugins and they'd like to demonstrate at some point those plugins, that'd be awesome, because then people can see what's out there, what's possible. So just some of the other links on the right-hand side here. Advanced searching references, JQL functions, fields, keywords, and operators. They're really good pages as well. Usually I just Google for Jira JQL and then get this page and anything. So also, if you wanted to be able to do searching by due date range and different things like that, you can just Google for that and you'll get good information. There's lots of forum responses and different things in there. All right, so looking at our board, and before we were talking about that issues screen on the left-hand side. Actually, I've already got these set up. Sorry. Okay, so if I clicked on that one on the left-hand side, it would take me to this screen, which is where I had that screenshot before, and we've talked about this screen a fair bit. If I go into advanced, no, this is still under meetups. Okay, if I run one of these filters, then it would bring me into here. And this is a search, so you can still see this is in the context of, no, I beg your pardon, I was confused. This is what you get if you go to the advanced screen. I'm just going to maximize my screen so that I can see it more. Move, zoom up to the right. Okay. So yeah, this is the advanced view. And the first thing that I usually do, I don't necessarily like having this the summary at the left here and the detail here. So I usually change this under the drop down here, instead of detail view to list view, which will give you this view here. And you can still jump into the detail. If you click on any one of the items in the list, I'll slow down in a minute. It'll go into the detail of it. And top right in the corner here, you can see I'm on 1 of 377. And you can either increment through that. And if I hover over, you can see you can just use the keyboard shortcut J or K if you want to go forwards or backwards through your search results. And you can also return to your search. Okay. There's other options in here as well to export. So if you run a filter, then you can export by default to XML, RSS, Word, HTML, CSV. So there used to be an Excel exporter as well, and I really like that. But the reason that they've taken that out, I think there was some security issue with Microsoft Excel. I think you can probably still enable it for server, not sure about cloud. There's probably plugins to be able to do an Excel export, but yeah. So you've got the ability to export all fields. So in our screen here, there are fields that we haven't got configured to see, or just the ones that are currently displayed on the screen. Okay. You can also create a dashboard gadget directly from here. With configuring the columns, if I haven't saved a filter, it'll just come up with my defaults. If I was a system administrator, I can configure the columns that appear for everybody across the entire Jira instance. Or if I save a filter, then it will give you another option there to change what columns you see. So let's do that now. And I'm going to go to the basic view. So you can see here to the right of the search box, we switch to basic. That ability to go to a basic view will disappear if you have advanced criteria that you've handwritten, and that criteria might not be able to be displayed as a basic view. So say, for example, if you've got a function around dates or something like that, then it might disappear and you'll only be able to see the advanced view. Quite often, if I'm writing a filter, I might start with developing it from basics. So if we said, click on drop down for project, and I want to see data from A and C. Now these project names, I did some mock data, okay, so don't blame me for a project called Important Bird. But if I want to see Ancient Circle, Important Bird, and Meetups, and I don't want to see stuff from these other ones, because Witty Food, I mean, what is that? If I switch to JQL, you can see that it's automatically updated the project in clause. Go back to basic. The types, I can nominate to see all standard issue types, or I can see just subtasks if I wanted to, or I can pick one or more, or none, particular tasks. If I haven't chosen anything, then it will return all. That's the same for projects, status, assignee, etc. So I'm going to go here with just all standard issue types. Status, and this I think will show statuses available across all the workflows. So if I had one workflow for our Meetup group and a different workflow for these other dummy data ones that I've imported, then I would see a range of different statuses available there. Okay, and you can see here, there is some duplication. So one workflow has got a closed status, another workflow has got a done status. So that's where workflows have different ways to close out or different statuses to close a workflow, that can become problematic. So instead, we might want to go for, and with this more, I'm just going to type in here resolution. Okay. And I'm going to go unresolved, because I just want to see things that are open, regardless of whether their closed status is closed, done, rejected, whatever it might be. Okay.
So, Paul, if you switch to the JQL now, you can then see what the actual script looks like.
Yeah. Yep.
So another way that you can do it is resolution is empty. So empty is one of your magic words.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
So that will be a catch-all for not closed or done or any other variant of resolved.
Yeah, that's right. So resolution is empty and resolution equals unresolved are interchangeable. But Dan's raised a really good point. Is empty is really valuable across all the other attributes as well.
Yeah, so
it's a reserved word, yeah.
Yep. So it's like null in other languages. But yeah, like for instance, equals unresolved might miss some things you're looking for, because there might be some other resolutions, or there might be no. Because I think there was lots of choices in your drop down on resolution, and you can have a lot. Yeah,
that's right. So done, won't do, duplicate, etc.
Yep.
So if it was, look, I've even got a resolution meh. If you had if you had a workflow that populated the resolution field earlier in the workflow too, then that can get a bit problematic. Yeah. So there's a few gotchas with searching.
Well, yeah, when you go to switch to JQL, there is an empty set of braces for all standard issue types. So the argument, there are no arguments there. But there's nothing equivalent to status all, assignee all. Is there a difference? I would have expected to see assignee with open braces because we haven't put arguments. Status, again, the same thing, but yet.
Okay. Yes. So because I have refined the search on issue types, now if we go back to basic, so you remember I've ticked an option here. That's why, that's why I've got that element in there. If I take that off, good question. If I take that off, then that parameter disappears.
Got it. Okay.
If you go back, Paul, tick that again, and then tick one of the subtypes. So if you tick all standard, and then untick the subtask one.
Yep.
And then tick like story or something.
Mhm.
You should probably see that, I think, in the
argument,
in the brackets. Yeah.
In JQL as well.
There it is.
Yeah.
Beauty.
Yeah. There you go.
So it's pretty cool the way that it builds that up.
Thank you.
No worries. And that's what these series are all about, right? Is trying out different things. And so your homework, when you guys log into Jira later on and you play around with this stuff, this is exactly what I'm hoping you'll do. It's sort of, you're not going to break anything. So you can come in and you can search for things and all that sort of stuff. So, okay. Yeah, so if we go to more, so it's just showing how you can search. There are many other attributes, right, that you can search across.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Paul, did you have any scenarios for some kind of filters for today that you wanted to?
Well, I want to build one up with you, and
Yep.
then we'll save that and share it, and then we'll create a dashboard out of it. And I'm just mindful, that we've got not very long left. Okay, the other thing I quickly want to show is these criteria that you can build up here. So you can also add all these other fields. So if I wanted to add fixed version in here, for example, and at the moment we've got all. So if we said Meetup's first month and 3.0, you can see it's refining this as we go. So there are only three items that are across the projects we've selected that are unresolved and that are in those fixed versions. We might also include no version.
Yeah.
We'll probably get
So you can also do like fixed version, not empty as well.
Yeah, that's right. So now I'm just going to, okay, so I've got standard issue types in those projects, resolutions unresolved, fixed version is empty, or a specific one. That's right. Or you could say
Not empty.
where fixed version,
not equals empty.
You can go is empty. Yeah, I've got an extra bracket in there.
Yeah.
You can see if my JQL won't parse, we get a little X up to the left here, and it says what the error or where the error is. So we can either go fixed version is empty, or we can say is not empty as well. Okay, so we've only got 10 there.
Paul, to the right of the reporters, in the reporter column, inactive, that's that you can toggle that on and off in Jira for your user, right? For the users.
Yeah, that's right. So these ones here, the inactive users, these are from the data that I imported from, I think it was XPM or somewhere. There's like dummy data generator that you can create. So I've got no idea who this guy is. So I thought, well, I better make him inactive. Just in case it logs in.
Fair enough.
But yes, where it says inactive, that's somebody who has been in the system and has been deactivated. Correct. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. I'm just going to take fixed version out here. And you can either hit enter or you can click search. Okay, got 86 issues. Now I'm going to save this because we've got 15 minutes left. I'm going to save this as how it uses Paul's filter.
So while you're on this topic, Paul, did you know that there's a setting for your profile to automatically share your filters by default?
Oh, really?
So if you look at the details of this filter now, where next to the save as, you'll see this filter is only visible to you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you edit that, you can then see, you can then allow other users to see your filter.
Yes.
But if you cancel that, and go to the top right under your
my profile.
I don't remember exactly where it is, but it's somewhere in here.
Okay.
Something about where you can basically set, if you make a filter, you can have default view only by all users.
Right, okay.
The reason why that's really important is if you make filters that you then use for Confluence, if you forget to share them, your Confluence filters won't work, your dashboards won't work, except they'll work for you, and you'll be like, it looks awesome to me, and everyone else will be like, this is terrible.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's in there somewhere. But
so I think that might be Yeah, in Confluence, you can use JQL directly rather than
Yep.
using a filter. But in the dashboards in Jira, that's certainly the case, and
Yeah.
the normal Scrum and Kanban boards too.
So also
Yeah.
some of the Confluence add-ins you have to refer to a filter. You can't put the JQL straight in.
Yeah, true. Can you, for your homework, Dan, can you find out where that is?
I'll find out where it is. Hang on.
Yep.
You keep going.
Yeah, no worries. All right, that's awesome. Thank you.
I guess even if you do not give enough permissions to for a wider audience for filters, you can always share your dashboard as well to other users as well, including the filter.
Yes, you can share your dashboard. If you share the dashboard but you don't share the filter, people won't be able to see the data properly. But what we'll show here now is sharing the filter. Okay. So it says it's owned by Meetup user. If you have somebody who has created a filter and they depart the organization, a system administrator can change who the owner of the filter is. So there's always a way back there. So if we edit our permissions here, the access, so you can either give permission to one or more projects, one or more groups, my entire organization. You can make it public. I probably suggest don't do that. Or you can make it private. So if we say project, and I want to go with Ancient Circle, and I'm going to add that. You can also, you can see here, you can say what roles you want to limit it to. I'm going to go Ancient Furniture, add that, Important Birds, Meetups, and Mobile Transmission. Okay, then I'll save that. And the other part under details up here on the top again is subscriptions. Now, especially Varun, when you watch the recording later, as a project manager, you might want to be able to, you might want to have filters created to return data to you, could be each morning, when things are due within 7 days, for example. No problem, Sinushki. No problem. Right. Yeah, so you can set it up so that you can either do a group subscription. So it could be all Jira software users. I want them to be subscribed to it. That's a little bit dangerous. Or it could be your own personal one. And if you share a filter, then anybody can go in and create their own subscription to it. So it's a good way to share data. And your schedule, it can be daily, particular days of the week. So it could be Mondays and Wednesdays or something. Days of the month, first day of, or the first of every month, or first Sunday, weekday, whatever. Or you can go advanced and you can say a particular cron expression there for the interval. If we went with just Mondays and Wednesdays, once per day at 5 AM, that's fine with me. And there's an option down the bottom here, email is filter even if there's no issues found. I would usually leave that unchecked. And so it might be that you might want to see issues that are due within 7 days, and you only want to see that email with a list of those if there's results returned. So if it's 0, don't send me an email, Jira. So that one's pretty handy. And you can, well, if we do subscribe to it, then when we go back to it, then the options change here. We can either do a new subscription or we can manage our subscriptions. And under here, so it's got a list of all the subscriptions to the filter, and you can either edit the subscription, you can delete it, or you can trigger it to run immediately as well. These will be useful for some people and not for others. So for people who are in a leadership position, that could be something that's quite helpful. You might also want to, for your own personal side of things, if you're a developer in a team or something and you want to see outstanding bugs from the last build or something like that daily, then you can set that up as well. So they're quite handy.
So Paul, the notion of emailing a filter is emailing the result of running that filter, right? That's
very good point. Very good point. Let me start Outlook here for a second. I'll share this in a minute. Okay. And so let's go into our filters now. And if I run this, so let's run, go back to the filter. And sorry, I just got Outlook open on the other screen. And so I think you can still see my browser, can't you? Not the, okay. So you can't see Outlook at the moment, can you?
That's correct.
Yep, so let me share Outlook instead. Okay, you can see it now?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that filter is just run, and it's got a summary here. So you could print that out if you want to, or whatever. And if I click on one of those, it's going to jump to Chrome. So let me just change what I'm sharing here. Go to Chrome. Okay, you can see Chrome again now. Yep. So yeah, if you click on the links in the email, it'll take you straight into Jira, so you can see what's there. And the other thing is, just want to check on the email. Okay, I thought it might have had a link to all. Okay, it also has a link at the top of the email to the filter, so you can run the entire filter if you wanted to as well, and jump into Jira that way. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, I'm mindful we've got 8 minutes left, so let's... Oh, this screen here was just demonstrating if you put Windows 10 up here, then the JQL, it automatically creates a JQL and runs a query for you. So that was that one there. I was demonstrating. Okay. All right. Before we create a dashboard, is there any questions about this one? Just let me check the comments here. So your page. Okay, let's look at that. So Dan has said the filter and dashboard sharing was under user profiles for on-prem. Oh, okay, maybe removed from cloud. Maybe check system, user interface, default user preferences. Thanks, Dan. I'll have a look at that later on. Yeah, awesome. Cool, thank you. That's good. All right, if we've got no further questions, then I'll jump into dashboards. So let's create dashboard. So just up at the top here, there's a dashboards menu, and I'm going to, thought I could do that in a different screen. So we're going to call this Power Users Dashboard. And I'm going to share this with all those projects that I did before. Okay. And when the dashboard's created, you can either create a dashboard based on another one. So I could have taken a copy of the system dashboard if I wanted to, or another one that I'd already started. And Ignacio, if you create a dashboard tonight and then Dan wants to cheat, he wants to copy yours and build on it, he could do that as well, take a copy of it. You'll all be logging in with the meetup.user account. So I just ask if you please just modify your own dashboards rather than other people's, because people might come back in and go, what the hell's happened to my dashboard? Okay. And then we can add gadgets. So, and the layout that you can see here, we've got 2 columns at the moment. You can either have just 1 column, 2 columns, and you can have like a 1/3 and 2/3, 2/3 and 1/3, or 3/3, 3 columns if you wanted to. We'll just go with this one for the minute. And when before I add the gadget, you can see here, it's automatically starred my dashboard, okay? So if I want to add gadgets, it'll come up like this initially. It won't have a loaded all gadgets, so you can click on load all. And then we've got a whole range of different things available in here. And I'd encourage you to play around, check these out, and pick which ones you like. There are a few different ones. So if I go down to, there's heat maps, you can add that one. And you can add multiple at the same time, right? Issue statistics, and it's pie chart. There's projects, which is unrelated to the filter. Some of these are related to the filter that you can select, and others are independent of filters. Some of them require historic data, so version report, time since, time to first response, etc. Some of the dummy data that has been created from the stuff that I've imported. may populate those. I haven't played around with that yet, but please feel free to try that out. Okay. And we've just got 5 minutes. So it was, you can start typing. It was Paul's, power users, Paul's filter. And so this one's a 2-dimensional filter statistics. So we're going to go with, yeah, we'll go assignee on one side, and the other way I want to go with, we'll go issue type for now. You can change the sorting of it. You can change whether it's ascending or descending. The number of results, I usually just increase that. And you can have it automatically update, or if you untick this, just when you come back to the page, it'll automatically update anyway. Okay. Can a filter be added to a dashboard, Sandeep? Yep. So what we're doing now, does that answer your question, Sandeep? Yep, cool. Okay, so this 2-dimensional filter. So we've got assignees across the top here, and we've got issue types down the left. If we wanted to see that as, you know, I've just got 4 minutes, so I'm just going to be pretty quick here. If I want to see it by a different thing, could be components, for example. You can save it again, and it changes that. If I went, oh gee, I really want issue types across the top and components down the left, edit, and swap it around. So this one we're going to make it issue types, and the next one will go components. I'll save that. Okay, and it changes the layout. If you think, I've got all these filters on the left-hand side of the gadgets, you can just click and drag it across to the right. You can rearrange as well. Okay, so the pie chart, we're going to go Paul's filter. Statistics type, I'm going to go with issue type, and I'm going to save that, etc. Okay, so we've just got 3 minutes left. The only other thing I wanted to say with this was anywhere that you see a hyperlink, you can click on it and it will run that advanced filter. You can do that with totals on any of the columns. The project gadget has automatically populated itself with the projects that this user is has visibility of and access to. Issues to statistics, I'll just quickly do that one as well. We're going to go with project. Save that one. Okay. And again, anywhere there's a hyperlink, you can click on that and it'll run a filter, and it will automatically set the criteria based on what you have selected in that other screen. So that's pretty cool. Heat map, let's just do that one quickly as well. And oh, look at that. Most of them are assigned to the Paul Casanova user ID. All right, so we're almost at time. So let me go back to.
So while you're doing that, I made one too.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah,
there you go.
it's in the chat.
Okay, so. All right, so Dan's logged in. There you go. So we've got created versus resolved. So that would be using some of that mock data.
So it looks like you haven't done any, you haven't closed any work, Paul. Slack.
Mate, I got to get on it.
Oh yeah, haven't closed a single ticket.
I'll just do a bulk update. That'll fix that.
Oh yeah, job done.
That's right. Okay. Oh, actually, that's the other thing. You can do bulk updates as well. So if we went, okay, these 18 issues here, bulk change. And you might say, I just want that one, that one, and this one. They're currently assigned to a range of different people.
Let's close them.
Yeah, why not? So the options that you get if you bulk change is edit, move. So you can move from project to project, or you can move between issue types. And the reason for moving between issue types rather than just editing, sometimes you can edit, but if issue types have a different workflow, then you need to do some mapping. So to do as a status in one might be different to backlog in the other, for example. You might want to map those. We can transition, which is what we'll try and do now. You can bulk watch, or you can bulk stop watching as well. So if you wanted to just go, I've had enough emails and I just want to stop getting all the spam, then you could do a search for all my currently watched issues. There's a function for that, and stop watching all issues. So if we transition these, we're going to close. And the resolution, we're just going to go with meh for now. And go next. Confirm. Okay, so now I've got 14 instead of 18. And if I go back to Dan's sweet dashboard, nice name by the way, Dan. We should
Right. See if we've got any.
Oh mate, we've hardly put a dent in it. No worries. All right. So John and Jose have just dropped off. Thanks, guys. We'll wrap up shortly. We might leave it here just in case people miss out on other content. Are there any other questions though before we finish up?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, Paul.
Yeah.
So regarding the creation of dashboard, so when you are creating the dashboard to the access field, you added all the projects. Okay. So do we have to manually add all the projects, or like if you select only the project and just click it add, so it will automatically add by default add all the projects to it?
So I can let you know, I shared my dashboard with everyone in the organization. That was the way I did mine. So if you want the fastest way to just share with everyone, you can just hit everyone.
Okay.
But yeah, then you can do project by project. I think what you want to do is encourage people to make everything public. So if you make a dashboard, there's no reason to really to hide, I think, project by project. But obviously people want to try and do that for reasons.
Yeah.
But if you can dissuade them and say, just make it open to everyone, because no one wants to be spending time fiddling permissions forever. I would have
Yeah,
thought.
very true. It's an admin overhead.
Yeah.
One use case might be if you had execs that wanted access to their own dashboard for security.
They should be transparent too.
That's right. It's an anti-pattern. Absolutely,
Yes.
Dan.
Yeah.
So Dan's absolutely right. Try and encourage everybody to have open filters and dashboards. Nothing to hide. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Awesome. No worries, guys. All right, thank you very
Awesome.
much for attending.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Good
Anything
stuff.
else before we wrap up?
Have you got how are you going to get feedback from this group on this session today? Just want to do Slack or something, maybe?
Yeah. So I'm not sure if everybody in here is in Slack, but I might do an ideas board and I'll send the link in Slack.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah.
But then what about topics for next time as well, maybe?
Yeah, and I missed that.
And use Slack for that too, maybe?
Yeah, yeah. I'll do both, I reckon, Dan.
Or comments in the meetup if you haven't got it yet.
Yeah, good idea. So topics for next time, if we go, I might give people a few different options. So go Slack, meetup, comments.
Yeah, maybe just take a poll on that one.
Yeah, that'd be good. And idea boards.
Yeah, like if I was to come to the next power users one, maybe if you sort of talked about some scenarios, like how would I find, stories that are orphaned? How do I find stories that have been going too long or stuck? How would I, work out those kinds of things maybe? And then maybe get everyone in the room to have a go at trying to figure out the way that they would answer that question on their own. I think theoretically we should all be able to log in as the same user at the same time.
You can, yeah.
And make our own filters, and then we could go away for 5 minutes and come back, and then maybe people could go, hey, this is how I solved that, and someone else could do the same.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, good call, Dan. And we might do breakout rooms next time.
Yeah, or you could just do group work, and then maybe in the breakouts, one person might drive.
Yep.
And then people could either chip in or watch. So I think some people would be like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to watch, which would be fine.
Yeah.
Just adding on to Dan's idea, I really like that one with the orphaned ones. Would it also be good to include that in the same session or another one, talking about baselining?
Yeah, what do you mean by baselining?
Because with the orphaned ones, I've noticed this. If you've actually baselined initially, and then over the period of time, you have your changing baseline or evolved one, because you've had more epics introduced, more dependencies, more issues added onto. It just kind of gives you a perspective to look at any of those new items, new tasks, and new epics that come through who are not associated with the existing one. So baseline kind of gives you saying, okay, well, I have a baseline now based on what it was at that stage. These are the new ones. These are the orphan ones. Let me bring them more and roll them up to or relate them to a particular epic or task or subtask, whatever that may be. And based on that, this is where my new forecasted baseline would look like, but lock it in.
Yeah, for sure. Could you, in Slack, when I add you in, could you add in, I think you gave me your email address, didn't you? So can you put your scenario in there? That'd be really good for Run. And I suppose one point is there'll be people using Jira from a range of different backgrounds and roles, right? So there'll be project managers who'll have scenarios that'll be very helpful to them. There'll be developers that'll have other scenarios. There'll be Scrum Masters, there'll be different Agile coaches and all that sort of stuff. And we can all learn from all those different scenarios. That'll be really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yes, I can. Baseline, I just mentioned that because regardless of what role you are into and what responsibilities you're into, baseline is always a good idea. It's not just a task a project manager should undertake because that gives you visibility and you can talk about it if there's something you won't be able to meet on your promises and your deadlines.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's good.
So, yeah, I'll set that up. Yeah, sure.
That'd be awesome. No worries. All right. Thanks heaps, guys.
Thanks, Paul.
I've lost my Zoom hang up button.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul. Dan.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. There it is.